Welcome to another edition of ATL Prime Sports. I'm JJ Jurjevich. Joining me this evening is the one, the only Wayne Ridenauer in Memphis, Tennessee, our fabulous producer, and my co-host this evening, Larry Gardner, voice of the Rome Braves, and possible future mayor of Adairsville, folks. That's right.
Wow. All right.
Larry Garner. How we doing tonight, fellas? Larry, how you doing, buddy?
Man, doing well up here in Tiger Town, man. Everything is going well. Kids doing great. Families doing well. Just got over the World Comcast internet outage that took over the majority of the day. But other than that, my friends, we are hanging in there. Thanks for asking. How about you all?
I'm doing pretty good here in Memphis. We've got a football game coming up that may be quite a challenge. Friday night at the Simmons Bank Liberty Bowl Stadium versus Tulane, and Tulane is number 2 in the conference right now, right behind Memphis. So we hope to win this one and take ownership of number 1 spot in the American Athletic Conference.
I'm doing well, but not as well as UGA's offense versus the University of Kentucky last week. 608 total yards, 435 passing, 173 rushing, resulting in a 51-13 win over an undefeated ranked opponent. Previously undefeated, I should say. You can find us all at ATL Prime Sports on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, Apple and Spotify. Personal Twitters at JJ Get You One for myself, at RWY Jr. for Wayne, at Corder Todd for TC Todd Corder, who is out umpiring some ball games tonight, and of course, at LG for real though, for Larry Garner, PA voice of the Rome Braves. What's on tap for today's show? We have the postseason update, Major League Baseball postseason update, and we're just doing a pick six. Pretty quick and simple show right now. And we'll start off in the NLDS. Braves game 3 results at Phillies tonight's not looking really good, down 10-2 right now going into the top of the 9th inning. 6 home runs tonight for the Phillies, an onslaught by Bryce Harper, his first multi-home run game in his postseason career. They just took off on Bryce Elder in the 3rd inning and never really looked back from there. Braves jumped on top early, got a 1-0 lead, and really the Phillies never looked back from there. Look, Game 1, 3-0 Phils. Game 2, 5-4 Braves. They scored in the 6th, 7th, and 8th to take a 5-4 lead into the 9th. Game ended on a crazy 8-5-3 double play. Travis d'Arnaud. Some highlights here, folks. That's all I'm doing. Travis d'Arnaud hits his 10th career postseason home run, one away from Jorge Posada and Jason Varitek for most all-time for a catcher. In the postseason, of course, tied with Johnny Bench and Javi Lopez right now with 10. So pretty impressive company. Travis d'Arnaud with that home run in the 7th inning of Game 2, which got the Braves within 1 run. And then, A.J. Minter had a great comment after the win on Monday night. He said, team came back relentless, said all the right things, and at the end he just said that was heart and nuts. And I just thought that was hilarious, but also it kind of resembles this team. Since 2021, the bullpen's always kind of had that chip on their shoulder with phrases, and Jock Peterson was part of that because he was jumped on the pitcher's bus, and we all know where we are those MFers came from. So that's pretty much the series we're at again right now. Phillies are about to take Game 3, go up 2-1 in the series. So really sticking in the NLDS and with the Braves first, Larry, what are your thoughts on this series so far, man?
To me, honestly, it's the Braves' inability so far to come up with clutch hits with runners in scoring position. Philadelphia is getting those hits. Atlanta is not. And for all the records that were set all season long with the best offense historically and all of these home runs and these jumping on, in games with beating people in the first inning, these bats that we've seen all season long have gotten real cold with runners in scoring position. I hadn't had the chance to get all the numbers together, but by the time this game ends tonight, I plan on doing so. But that being said, if Atlanta cannot find a way to start getting clutch hits when there's runners on scoring position, I know they left, I think it was like 9 or 10 in game one. I think they've already left another 8 to 10 runners in scoring position or stranded on base tonight. That's the key. And with Spencer Strider going again in game 4 tomorrow, you know, this is, I hate to be the one to bring up PTSD memories with most Braves fans, but you gotta, and TC tried to talk a little bit about it earlier, but the point of the matter is to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Philadelphia has done that last year and is one game away from doing it again this year. It is going to take the Braves' big-time bats, from Ronald Acuna to Matt Olson, that chunk of the order has got to start producing when it matters most. If they don't, then you'll see this city flip upside down because a team that was World Series of bust got put out in the NLDS.
Yeah, it pretty much seems like the layoff has been a big story for a lot of fans around baseball. But look, I point to the Houston Astros. They figure out a way to do it. They're currently in their ALDS, and they're up 3-1 in game 4, excuse me, and they can close it out tonight and win that series. So the rust doesn't seem to affect Houston. I don't know if it's something in the water down there or what, but yeah, Atlanta's got to get their bats going. 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position in game 1. They left 7 on base in game 1. You're right, they left several on base tonight. They left 2 on in the first inning when they picked up the second inning there. When they picked up the first run of the game, they left 2 on base after having a little rally. And it's things like that. If you can get the crooked number in the half inning and keep moving forward with runs, 2-3 runs, that's what really opens things up in the playoff. The Phillies were able to do that. The Braves were not. But just unbelievable series thus far. Very exciting. It's not over yet, folks. The Braves can come back in this series. They have Strider and Fried lined up for games 4 and 5. And if they do win game 4 tomorrow night, because they are down to their final out in the top of the 9th inning, down 10-2 as we film this. So looking down 2-1, they still had their 2 aces up their sleeve. If they can manage a game 4 win and get back to Atlanta, I like our chances still. I shouldn't say our chances. I like the Braves' chances. I mean, let's face it, they are able to home run anybody. They are able to just out hit anybody. They did it all season. They just need the bats to wake up. And hopefully if they get back to Atlanta, they'll do just that. Wayne, any thoughts on this series?
No, not on this series. You know which one I'm looking at.
I figured I'd let you get a little National League talk in. On the other side of the NLDS, you had the Dodgers who are down 2 games. Game 3 in Phoenix tonight in just a few minutes here. D-backs have been getting it done in the first inning. 6 runs in the first inning in game 1, 3 in the first in game 2. So they kind of been pulling the Braves, scoring a lot of runs early and getting that onslaught and shutting them down. So the D-backs, Mark Mancini, friend of the show, called this, said snake bitten from day one, and it's looking like it. Larry, your thoughts on the other side of the LDS and the Dodgers down 2?
I think when Clayton Kershaw didn't have the outing that you expected them to have, I think the Dodgers begin to play in panic mode. Arizona is playing so free, so loose. They're playing masterfully when it comes to small ball. You're not looking for the big 3-run home run or the 2-run home run. They are playing station to station, key extra base hits, and when they're doing it, it's just beautiful to see when you're going into a series with nothing to lose and you can just play your game. you're seeing exactly that happen with what the Arizona Diamondbacks are doing. And LA has to be LA, and somebody has to come up on that team and help them put a Band-Aid over it, because their pitching staff was just as injury-riddled as the Atlanta Braves pitching staff was. So somebody in that pitching staff is going to have to step up and try to put a Band-Aid over what this Diamondback offense has been able to do, because it's literally see ball, hit ball, and they have yet to find anything that they didn't like, because they are swinging, they are being aggressive, they are being aggressive on the base paths, is running as well. So when you continue to put that type of pressure on a team that's usually not used to seeing it, especially in the playoffs when things are so minute and things are so, the microscope is on you so tight, it doesn't take but one or two mistakes and you're going home.
Yeah, it's very thin line between elimination and moving on in Major League Baseball. Over on the LDS, the American League LDS, your Rangers, Wayne, swept Baltimore right out of it. Maybe a little bit of rust up there in Baltimore as well. Number 1 overall seed in the American League. Wayne, your Rangers moving on to the LCS. They did it with offense, scored 21 runs in those 3 games, hit 4 or 5 home runs in the series as well. Bruce Bochy's 4 wins away from being in the World Series in 2 different leagues. Your comments on your Rangers?
Well, winning a series that quickly is good, but it can also be bad. I just hope they stay frosty until Sunday. And it looks like they may be facing the other team from Texas.
Yeah, all Texas LCS there, as you mentioned. It looks like it has. And the other side of it, the Astros are up 2-1 on the Twins. They've scored 15 runs in their 2 wins. Game live now on Fox Sports 1 as we record this. They're up 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning up there at Target Field in Minnesota. Larry, your thoughts on the ALDS series? Rangers sweeping and Astros looking like they might advance despite the rust.
No, I completely understand. And Wayne, you probably can even capitalize on this comment or this series of thoughts. But first and foremost, I think the way Texas went about building this team, the Corey Seager signing was huge.
Yeah.
And he's been lights out so far in the playoffs. Marcus Semien has done phenomenally during the playoffs, So 2 big keys for Texas, who played ball great all season long. The bats didn't cool down for them when you were going up against a red hot at the time Baltimore Orioles team, which would lead me to a question and a statement, which the statement I'll say first. The 100-win plateau for baseball teams has kind of become the Madden curse in the playoffs. And it's unfortunate because if things continue to what they have been so far, you are likely to have another wild card winner as your World Series champion.
Yeah.
Texas has had themselves a marvelous series, and they continue to play ball great. They match up real well with Houston. I expected, if they do face each other, I expect it to be a 7-game series. It's just, you got speed and power with Texas. You got speed, small ball, and the occasional big boppers with Houston, but they've got the arms, and I think that was why it was important for them to sign or trade for Justin Verlander when they did, just for this time in the season. And I think that's the one thing the Atlanta Braves were not able to do that I think that they needed to do. When Texas went and got Scherzer, Houston went and got Verlander, and now you're about to see both of them in the NLCS. I think Atlanta missed out on a key acquisition by not getting, or at least trying to obtain, one of those pitchers for right now what's going on with your pitching staff against Philadelphia. So.
Yeah, very, very good point. You hit the nail on the head there, Larry. It's Todd mentioned it in text messages. He didn't think the Braves had enough pitching after game one, and it's kind of showing right now. The Braves starting pitchers behind Fried and Strider without Charlie Morton was a huge question mark in this series, and it showed. So the Astros have somehow, some way stayed fresh with the time off, whereas the other one seeds have not even advanced, to my knowledge, if I remember off the top of my head correctly. That wraps up our ALDS NLDS talk. Let's go ahead to our pick six, folks. We do a pick six. We pick football games. The lines and spread are from Monday. 6 football games, 3 college, 3 pro. Again, lines are from Monday per Caesars Sportsbook. The standings are as follows. Wayne and I are tied at first place at 20-16. Wayne had a 2-4 week last week. I was 500 at 3-3. TC is in the rear at 16-20, and Larry is one game above him at 17-19. They were both 2-4 last week. So let's go ahead and get into it. Our first game, number 8, Oregon, 5-0 at number 7, Washington, also 5-0. Washington's 2.5-point favorites in this one. The over-under is 67. Saturday, 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Larry, what say you, my friend?
Give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks. Let me tell you, y'all gonna laugh at this, but Dan Lanning, his whole point and purpose for coming to Oregon is to take a team that was already offensively set, but giving them the defensive prowess to make some noise. And what people may laugh at me for saying this, but the Pac-12 could say that they're probably, if not the best conference in college football.
Oh, they are. They're the best. Top
to bottom. You know? So with all the shambles and everything that's going to happen next year with so many of them on a max exodus, the Pac-12 is actually playing the best football in college. And the Dan Lanning show, after he handled a little bit of Coach Prime talk, this is his next big test. And standing across from him, he's got a Washington Husky team that puts up a lot of points. That all said, I could go and break it down, but I'm not because I know we're pushed for time. Give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks. This is an easy pick.
Wayne, what say you, buddy?
Man, I'm going to have to stick with the Washington team on this. I've been from the start of the season. They were one of my picks for the Final Four, and I see no reason to stop supporting them. The one thing that will be interesting, though, is after this Oregon loss, how does that affect Bo Nix and the Heisman Trophy?
So Washington, you're taking the Dogs. TC is taking Oregon in the points as well. Give me the Ducks in the points as well. Here's why. These teams have the number 1 and number 2 offenses in the country in terms of yards per game. 569 for Washington, 557 for Oregon. Oregon has the top 5 scoring defense, though, holding opponents to just around 11 points a game. Washington D's pretty good. It's around 18 points a game, so it's really a coin flip game. But I really like what Larry said about Dan Lanning. He's going to have them pumped up, hit them with their pads. He's going to say the right words to get them ready to play. And I think Bo Nix may just be a tick above Penix Jr. And I'll take the Ducks on the road plus those points. So again, we have 3 Oregon Ducks, 1 Washington Dogs. Let's go to game 2. Number 25, Miami, 4-1 after the debacle of a coaching call last week at Georgia Tech. First Georgia Tech, I should say. At number 12, UNC, 5-0. UNC's 3.5-point home favorites. Over-under in this one's 57. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. I'll top this one off. 2 top offenses going at it in the ACC battle. Both average over 500 yards per game. Tyler Van Dyke is pretty good too, folks. And I will take a ticked off Miami and a Miami team that has a top 15 defense in the country. Give me Miami and those points coming in a little fired up after last week's debacle. Still one of the craziest things I've ever seen a coach do in my lifetime. Honestly, if they lose another game, I'd get rid of Cristobal just because of that. I've never seen something like that, and I had to put this game into pick six for that reason because it was just so asinine. But I'm going to take the Hurricanes. They're ticked off. They're going to come blow Grandma's house down up there in Chapel Hill. Wayne, what say you?
Well, I'm going with Miami in this one because once again they were one of my picks to actually win the ACC and be in the Final Four for the college football. The only thing that may throw a wrench in that plan for me picking Miami is if Chiswick has something up his sleeve. He's a coordinator now for UNC, so we'll see. Unless he has something up his sleeve, I think this is Miami's game to win.
Larry, what say you?
Miami, my squad, and I'm riding or dying with them. I'm taking them all day long. And I want to let the whole world know Don Chaney's elbow was down before he was stripped, even though they didn't call it. I'm going to stand on that hill till the Lord come back.
It did look like it in a still picture. I have to give you credit for that.
Yeah, but listen, the problem with my boys is, and I won't continue, I know that's not professional, but the Hurricanes got a penalty problem, and they shoot themselves in the foot, and it's been like that since Cristobal's been coached, man. It's crazy the amount of penalties they get every game, and the main thing that I'm going to be concerned with more than anything else is if Miami can consistently sustain the drive without shooting themselves in the foot. If they can continue to do that, I believe they'll be able to handle business convincingly in Chapel Hill. Give me the Canes and the points, baby.
Todd's taking Miami and the points as well, so nobody's gaining ground if it goes the other way, or losing ground for that instance. The final college game of the day, going up to Corvallis, Oregon. Oregon State 4-1, number 15 in the country. Host number 18, 4-1 UCLA. Oregon State's 4-point home favorites. Over/under in this one's 55. It's 8 p.m. on Fox. What, Todd tee this one off even though he's not here? Todd is taking UCLA and the points. He's going with Chip Kelly in this one. And he told me common opponent and was Washington State, so he took UCLA. And they both played Utah as well, and one beat Utah, one didn't. So I'm going a different way. So TC goes with UCLA. I am going with Oregon State. Two top 25 rushing attacks face off here. Both teams want to do the same thing, control the clock, run to open the pass. UCLA has a slightly better defense, but I'll take the experienced quarterback in DJU and the Beavers to cover at home. So I'm taking the Beavers. Larry, what say you?
For almost the exact same reasons you stated, JJ, I'm going with Oregon State. And I understand that UCLA's defense has started moving up and has gotten the attention of the media pundits all across the nation. But Oregon State very quietly is having themselves a whale of a 2023 campaign. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon against the UCLA Bruins. Give me the Beavers, baby, to cover.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I think that's one of the most intriguing matchups of the weekend. Wayne, what say you, buddy?
Man, I'm taking Oregon State to cover at home easily. I think they've, like Larry's saying, and I think you may have mentioned too, they're sitting up there quietly doing their thing. And I like them at home better than I do UCLA visiting.
Yeah, I like the quarterback. DJU's played in a lot of big-time games at Clemson and traveling over here now. I think he's had the experience, and I think that's the difference in the ball game. I think I already mentioned it. Todd is taking UCLA and Chip Kelly. Let's move over to the NFL. Falcons 3-2 travel up to D.C., the nation's capital, to take on the Commanders at 2-3. I almost jumped to the next line there. Atlanta minus 2.5-point road favorites. Over/under in this one's 42. Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. on CBS. Little change in action there for you Falcons fans. click of the dial.
Yeah.
Larry, what say you, buddy?
No, I'm taking the Falcons, and it's and I can hear TC in my head as I even say that. Don't do it, Larry. It's fool's gold. It's fool's gold. But I don't think the Falcons right now have the offense to blow out the teams. I think they make you want to grind with it. Like, they make you want to come to work with a hard hat on and a metal lunch pail, and they want you to go to work. I think Desmond Ridder will continue off the success he had last week. I think the 1-2 punch of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier get it done. But I think this is the game where the Falcons defense is going to tee off. And I think there will be at least one defensive touchdown, if not two, caused by the Falcons defense. And they're going to be able to pressure Sam Howell. Give me the Falcons to win, albeit I think by 3 or even 4 points.
Hey, that 3 does it. The hook scares me. Wayne, what says you?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm taking the Falcons, of course, but this is an interesting game because the Commanders play at FedEx Field, and the founder of FedEx is a Mr. Fred Smith, and his son, Arthur Smith, is the Falcons head coach. So this is going to be one of those instances where you go in your dad's house and you beat him in his own house. That's the way I'm looking at it anyway.
Hey, that's a very interesting point, Wayne. I like that you made the connection there. Very cool connection. And I'm taking the Falcons to cover. I got to. Look, this was the hardest one. The hook was huge for me. I was going like maybe a 1-point win like the Green Bay game or the walk-off field goal for the deuce. But look, to me, it's the Falcons' defense. Just like Larry said, it's legit. It's finally legit for the first time in, golly, I'd say since the 90s, or that the Falcons have a legitimate defense. They can go stop you running the ball. They can stop you in the air. Jesse Bates can create a turnover. I do like the way Washington's offense has rallied, but it really isn't that good overall, and their defense is the second worst scoring defense in the NFL. So I think that adds up to Atlanta running the ball well and opening up passing lanes and play action for Desmond Ridder to improve on last week's 300-yard game. Give me the Falcons and the points. And Todd is drinking the fool's gold this week, so we're all taking the Falcons to cover. I said points, but Falcons to cover. So Todd's starting to think maybe that fool's gold's a little bit better than fool's gold. Let's go on to our fifth of the 6 game. 49ers 5-0 at Browns 2-2. San Francisco is 5-point favorites. The over-under in that one is 39. That's right. Don't adjust your dials. 39 is the over-under. 1:00 p.m. on Fox. Interesting game here. I'll tee this one off. 49ers are top 2 in both offense and defense. Best defense, second best offense. But here's the key in this. The Browns have the number 2 defense in the NFL, a top 5 rushing attack. Deshaun Watson, if he's healthy and he plays, he's able to run the ball and keep you in the ball game. Jerome Ford's been pretty good, not only as a goal line back, but out of the backfield as a passer. Kareem Hunt's back. Hopefully that can help with the power rush between the tackles. I think you guys see where I'm going with this. I think it's going to be a sloppy ball game because of that over-under total. I'm going to go with the Browns and the points, folks.
All right.
Browns and the points. Wayne, what say you?
Well, as much as I would like to pick Uncle Larry's team, the Browns, up there in Cleveland, I am just still I'm amazed at the way that the 49ers tore the Cowboys apart last week. And, I mean, that's a steam train that I don't think you can stop at this point. So I'll take the Niners to cover on this one.
Larry, what say you, buddy?
The one thing that I have known since Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons is that his teams will always be able to put up points. And it does not matter who the quarterback is. Brock Purdy is becoming Tom Brady 2.0 before our very eyes. and he doesn't have to be clutch all the time. He's got a running back behind him in Christian McCaffrey that as long as he stays healthy, that team is an absolute juggernaut on the defensive side. Cleveland just doesn't have the weapons to match. And if from all the reports that I've been able to read, most of them saying Deshaun Watson is not even going to play, which even further pushes my point to take the 49ers not only by 5, but the 49ers by 17. Give me the garnet and gold, red and gold, loving 49ers.
Todd's taking the Niners to cover as well. This is a chance for me to either gain a game and look like a genius or lose a game and look like an ace. Here we go. Final game of the Pick Six. Lions 4-1, Bucks 3-1, leaders of the NFC South right now. Detroit 3-point favorites on the road, over under 44. 4:25 p.m. on Fox. I'll kick this one off as well. Tampa does it with D. Lions does it with offense. Defense travels, and Aiden Hutchinson is one of the best young defensive players in the game. That Lions defense is getting better each week. That guy's getting better each week. Laporta's a beast. I really wanted to choose the Buccaneers here just because I think their defense is that good. They can control a game like that. But man, I'm drinking the Lions Kool-Aid. I'm gonna go with the Lions to cover. I'm taking Todd's Lions. And Todd's going with the Lions as well. Wayne, what say you?
Well, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers on this one, simply because I've got a feeling that, again, their defense is going to be ready for whatever the Lions have to throw at them. And at some point, and I guess it's because of their history, I just feel like at some point the Lions' wheels are going to come off, and this may be the game that starts them wobbling.
I like it. Larry, what you got?
Hey, man, listen, I know Baker Mayfield has been pretty solid this year, but I'm not sure that we all are really caught up to this Detroit offense. This offense is humming. Jared Goff has been probably at his best since his days with Sean McVay and the Rams. And we even saw injury news last week go against them, and most all the pundits still went away from Detroit. Listen, I've seen enough Baker Mayfield to know that if you get in his face early and often, he tends to make mistakes. I'm taking Detroit this time. I wanted to take, God knows I wanted to take Tampa, but that defense of Detroit continues to wreak havoc no matter who they play. So when you got a good defense and you can cause turnovers, you always going to have a great chance to win. Give me Detroit, and I think they win by 6.
Well, guys, that's our Pick Six for the week. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for listening. If you like the content, please like, subscribe. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Apple, Spotify. Just search ATL Prime Sports. Final thoughts, guys. I'll face off with this one, and I'll go with the NHL. The NHL is underway. They faced off their 2023-2024 season, and I know Todd's looking forward to it. It's NHL expansion talk here to Atlanta, and then I'll say a final stat. According to John Kincaid, who is a Philly/Atlanta radio personality, the Phillies' last 3 games in NLDS versus Brave, outscoring them 27-6. Ouch. Yeah, pretty bad. Larry, what you got? Final thought, buddy.
Yeah, man, to take half of my final thoughts along with that, Chase Utley said the one thing that has never happened is that the Atlanta Braves have never beaten the Philadelphia Phillies in a postseason matchup, all the way back to 1993, ladies and gentlemen. My final thought goes with the Atlanta Hawks, who started their preseason action on yesterday with a 1-point victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is Trae Young's 6th season as a member of the Hawks. Him and DeJounte Murray in the backcourt. Quinn Snyder's first full season as the head coach of the Hawks. Can he get this team to be able to compete deep into an Eastern Conference playoff run? Time will tell. looking forward to NBA action that is right upon us.
Right around the corner. Wayne, final thought for the evening, my friend.
Well, I don't know if you can hear it where you're at, but this is Memphis, and I can already hear the tennis shoes squeaking, the balls bouncing, and the rims rattling. And I've already gotten the notification that my tickets for the Memphis Tiger basketball season are ready for me to download. And their first, and this is not it's like a preseason game, but they're going to be facing Lane College, and a former point guard for Memphis, Andre Turner, is the head coach there. So it's going to be an exciting first game for Memphis, and I plan on being there in my seat and yelling as loud as I'm allowed to.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, Todd and I will have the call Lane versus Central State later in the month. So, little Lane connection here. Guys, enjoyed the show. For Wayne up there in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee, Larry in Adairsville, possibly the future mayor of Adairsville, Todd, who wasn't with us tonight, up there in Woodstock, Georgia, and myself over here in Lilburn. This is ATL Prime Sports. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Get your life.